What's up, guys? We got a little early Christmas present from Blizzard. 5 months after patch 2.03 went live, we now got patch 2.04 on the test servers. And for us melee players and competitive players, the most important point is probably a nerf to the Dark Ranger. She has seen quite an increase in playtime after the most recent buffs to her, where especially life drain was tackled. You can now give HP to your friendly units, and it was way more spammable than before. Blizzard has now addressed it in increasing the mana cost from 25 to 35. This makes it so that on level 1, instead of using life drain 10 times with the mana pool that she has, you can now use it more or less 7 times. So basically a 1/3 reduction of quantity of life drain. That should definitely help with that. We'll see if that is maybe even too much, and 30 is the sweet spot. What's also been addressed in the patch is the leash of life drain, the tether, the connection between the unit, the Dark Ranger that is taking life or giving life to a unit, and the target itself. And this goes into two directions. The range in which you can use the spell has been increased, which means that the Dark Ranger is now able to stand further away from the target that she wants to life drain. But on the other side, the tether range has been reduced. So that makes it easier for the targeted unit to run away from the Dark Ranger to cancel that spell. This brings it perfectly in line with Siphon Mana of the Blood Mage. So the two spells are now behaving evenly. Another thing that you can see as a nerf is a visual indicator to possession. Banshee Possession is a spell that sacrifices the Banshee after a short channel time and takes control over the targeted unit, which was recently seen with Knights and Griffins and Bears and had some playtime. Unfortunately, this is a very powerful spell, is very hard to detect, especially in big battles. Blizzard has now introduced a new visual effect, a new indicator when you are channeling possession. This is a purple version of, I think, Heal Wave or Life Drain. It makes it clear which Banshee is targeting which enemy unit. They also say that the Banshee Possession caster and target visual effects have been adjusted so the little white bubbles are appearing above the health bars. This doesn't work for me. It does work for Soul 8-Man, so I'm not really sure what's up there. These are the only changes in terms of balance, but there's a little bit more here. Blizzard is changing team game matchmaking. Currently, you can, if you want to play a range team with your friends, you can only queue up in, let's say, 4-4 as a stack of 4, and then you can only find other people who do the same. If you want to play with random people, you can do that as an individual, but that's about it. You will then be thrown into a mixed team. This is now about to change. As they say, we unlocked matchmaking in 3-3 and 4-4 for arranged and random teams. Arranged teams in all game modes have a small MMR weight applied when searching. So arranged team players can now face random teams. Obviously, the arranged teams have a little bit of an advantage as they might be communicating. So this is why the random team will be stronger in MMR, but fighting the arranged team now. You are also able to group with friends if your group is smaller than the game mode. For example, a team of 2 can queue into 3-3. A team of 3 can queue into 4-4. And there's a ready up message now as well. So from what I've heard, a ranged team, the team where you queue up as a fixed team, was pretty dead and was incredibly hard to find teams there. So hopefully this will make it better in a balanced way. I personally don't know too much. I don't play BNet. I don't play team games. So that's up for other people to discuss if this is good or not. Performance. Improvements and optimizations have been made to the Lua garbage collector. This is a tool that's used when, for example, you load an animation and then it's played, but then you don't use it anymore. This garbage collector is supposed to make sure that it's not occupying your RAM anymore because you only used it and then never again. Optimization is always good. This is probably something for custom games, stuff that goes like beyond an hour. It's good that there's optimization. The map makers are very, very happy with this patch because now you can add additional cliff types to your maps. If you remember, in patch 203, Blizzard allowed for more tile sets, more different ground surface tiles to be part of your map. But for cliffs, this wasn't the case. There are a lot of cliffs in the game, but you can only use 2 different ones. This is now in line with the tiles, so we can build more beautiful maps, which is always good. A couple of more optimization to the world editor. Now, this is everything for now in patch 204. And I have to say, everything in this is good. Every line is a reasonable change that makes the game better, in my opinion. If we compare this, though, to patch 203, where we had changes to the servers, a couple of new things like a production timer and improved camera for observers, more performance stuff, more visual stuff with updated shaders, and a bunch of bug fixes to World Editor, a bunch of updates to the hotkeys, and a lot of balance changes as well. This patch feels like the quantity is very low. And that is not only in comparison to previous Warcraft patches, that's also the case if you compare it to StarCraft, which got StarCraft 2 got a huge patch in more or less September, October, and that's a lot of changes in there, especially on the bug fix side of things. Now, the classic team not only in charge of Warcraft and StarCraft, but also Heroes of the Storm, and also Heroes of the Storm is getting huge changes, and they are even implementing skins into the game on top of bug fixes and balance. So this patch is very, very, very small. And I think personally, the scene is thirsting for more. The scene is thirsting for a stronger orcish horde, for more variety for night elves, some small buff to neutral heroes that don't see too much playtime. We are used to much more. So there's always an asterisk. I personally don't know, nobody knows how big the Warcraft team is or the classic team is. Nobody knows how much time it is to fix something like the Lua garbage collector, which I've never heard of before. So maybe that's a huge effort. Or also the cliffs, no clue. Maybe that's a huge effort and that's why they couldn't do much. Maybe they were under some sort of deadline to push stuff out, and we will get an update, as PTRs usually come in 3 cycles, that will be added later. Or maybe that's just it. So yeah, this is patch 204. Let me know what you think of these changes. Let me know what you are missing and what you would like to see. Blizzard is always scamming through comments, whether that's on their forums or Reddit or YouTube comments. And speaking of forums, I found something that I personally don't like too much. And this is the last thing I want to talk about. On the Battle.net forums, there's always a subsection for this PTR, so people can throw in their ideas and the bugs they encountered. A, the patch notes were posted very, very late and should ideally be posted earlier. B, every previous thread has been closed. And some of these threads include issues that are still not fixed. So they didn't comb through this and think, okay, that's still open, that's still closed. No, they just select all, close, and we start from here. That's not very motivating for people who report these bugs. So hopefully this gets addressed, changed in the future. As so often, I am very, very happy that Warcraft 3 still got active development from the team. I have to say though, I was hoping for more. and hopefully we are getting more in a previous update. We will keep you up to date on whatever Blizzard is doing with patch 204. You post your wish list in the comments and then we'll see where it goes from there. Take care. See you soon.